Good evening from Washington, D.C. I'm Mehdi Hassan in for Chris Hayes. In my lifetime, there has never been a world leader like the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. That is not an exaggeration. I cannot think of any world leader who has won and deserved this kind of praise. He has united much of the globe behind him and his besieged country. And he has been genuinely courageous, not just politically courageous, saying things no one else would say, but literally risking his life for his nation and possibly saving it from ruin. Today, President Zelensky addressed the US Congress remotely from Kyiv in a powerful speech. He spoke through a translator for much of the speech. He called on all American companies to leave the Russian market because it is flooded with Ukrainian blood, he said, before playing a powerful video showing Ukraine before and after the invasion. He closed by addressing Congress in English, saying Ukrainians are fighting for the values of Europe and the world, before making a personal plea to President Biden.
As the leader of my nation, I am addressing the President Biden. You are the leader of the nation, of your great nation. I wish you to be the leader of the world. Being the leader of the world means to be the leader of peace. Thank you. Slava Ukraini.
Tonight, NBC News' Lester Holt spoke with President Zelensky in an exclusive interview about whether President Biden had done enough to help Ukraine. Take a listen to what he said.
President Biden has been very clear. He's worried about provocations that could trigger World War III. Do you understand his concern there, and do you agree that it wouldn't take much to end up in World War III?
Nobody knows whether it may have already started, and what is the possibility of this war if Ukraine will fall, in case Ukraine will fall. It's very hard to say, and we've seen this 80 years ago when the Second World War has started. And there were similar tragedies in the history. Nobody would be able to predict when the full-scale war would start and how it will end and who will put an end to that. In this case, we have the whole civilization at stake.
We can respectfully disagree about whether or not World War III has begun and the need for nations not directly involved in the fighting to be mindful that this does not escalate. But you cannot blame the Ukrainian president for asking for every tool he can to defend his country. President Biden has been under quite a bit of pressure to do more from Zelensky, from members of both political parties, and from the media. But maybe in all the coverage, you've missed what President Biden has already done, including what he announced today, because it is our nature as the media to often simplify everything. We reduce everything about US involvement in Ukraine these days to no-fly zone or nothing. Now, there is an argument to be had about a no-fly zone, and I'm going to have it later in the show with a former Bush administration official. But let's talk first about what is actually being done to help Ukraine right now, which is pretty huge and, dare I say, unprecedented. Just today, President Biden announced the U.S. will send Ukraine 800 anti-aircraft systems, plus additional longer-range anti-aircraft systems and their munitions, 9,000 anti-armor systems, which he said are, quote, portable, high-accuracy, shoulder-mounted missiles, 7,000 small arms, including machine guns, shotguns, grenade launchers, 20 million rounds of ammunition, artillery and mortars for small arms, and drones, too. Biden did not specify what kind of drones, but NBC News reports the Biden administration will provide Ukraine with U.S.-made drones called Switchblades that can accurately target tanks and artillery from miles away. According to the White House, that list brings the total of new U.S. security aid to Ukraine to $1 billion just this week. And that is in addition to a long list of aircraft, weapons, and military equipment previously sent to Ukraine, including, but not limited to, over 600 Stinger anti-aircraft systems, approximately 2,600 Javelin anti-armor systems, 5 Mi-17 helicopters, 3 patrol boats, 4 counter-artillery and counter-unmanned aerial system tracking radars, 4 counter-mortar radar systems, and lots of guns and ammo. And that is in addition to a slew of draconian financial measures, such as a US ban on all Russian oil imports and sanctions against Russia's central bank, Russian oligarchs, and Putin himself. Plus, Joe Biden pushed the majority of European nations to join the US in doing most of these sanctions and brought together a NATO that is now more united than it was under President Obama, and obviously more so than under President Trump. In fact, just for a moment, let me remind you that it could have been this guy in charge right now, recklessly threatening nuclear war.
Look, Biden, every time he gets up, he says they are a nuclear nation. He should say we are a nuclear nation. And, you know, I rebuilt our whole nuclear arsenal. Stronger, bigger, better than ever before. It's better and it's bigger than Russia. He should say we are a nuclear nation and we don't want war and we don't want to wipe out anything to do and we don't want to wipe out Russia.
Seriously, that guy. Look, obviously, for Ukrainians who are being bombarded each and every day by the Russian military, what they have gotten is not nearly enough. And that is totally understandable. But from an objective point of view, I feel like we should actually stop and say, good job to the Biden administration for what they've pulled off over the past 3 weeks. Now, of course, Ukrainians continue to suffer and be killed tragically. And there are still massive unresolved issues, including the issue of whether or not to send fighter jets direct to Ukraine, an issue that President Biden passed on today.
Mr. President, what will it take for you to send the Polish MiGs that President Zelensky is asking for?
I'm not going to comment on that right now. I'm not going to comment any other than what I told you. Thank you.
Well, Mr. President,